Hey everybody, and welcome to today's video. Now today is another one of those where we had somebody ask a question, and the question, long story short, was basically, how do I know what questions to ask Spirit? Or if they're coming to see us for a reading, how do you know what things to ask? And and how to ask yourself, how to know what to ask yourself when you're channeling as well. And so I know for me there's a technique that I use. And the way I would pose it to you is that imagine all your questions are lined up, okay? Imagine them as a lineup outside of a store or whatnot. The way that I usually pick what I need to get clear on is either at the back of the line or the front of the line. So basically the question that has been on your mind the longest, or the question that just popped up today. And the reason why I find that works is especially for the one that is at the back of the line. A lot of times when you get clear on that, many of the questions that are sort of in the middle of the line get answered along the way. And it kind of works the same way a little bit for new questions. If it's something that's burning that just came up today, if it seems to be of a large enough concern where you really need to focus in on get an answer, many times once you do, the questions that are at the middle of the line, they're going to go away. Because a lot of times, we end up stacking up these questions on ourselves, And I get it, right? There's a million different things that we all want to know. Now, as an aside, in case anybody's wondering, no, you can't channel sports results, okay? Let's just get that right off the table. That's not how it works. The main thing that you're going to want to be asking Spirit about are the bigger life choices. You're either going to be asking questions of what, why, how, when. When is a little bit of a difficult one because when deals with divine timing and you have to line up with everybody else that's going to be involved with what you're looking to get. When is a tough one. Even I have a tough time with when, and especially if you're going to ask when, I would advise asking somebody else when. And the reason why that is because, like for our own selves, like for myself or yourself, you kind of have an idea of when you want it to come. All right, so you already have a preconceived idea of when something you want is going to arrive. So a lot of times that will cloud the answer that Spirit gives you, and it can be really, really difficult to kind of figure out, am I just projecting what I want onto what I think I'm hearing? So if you have a when question, I would definitely recommend asking somebody that you trust, or seeing somebody like a medium or someone who's going to channel that's going to give you a little bit more of a more objective answer. Now the what and the whys, those are questions that are more likely that you're going to be able to answer yourself as far as channeling, because the answer's already inside of you, especially whys, okay? For myself, I can sit here and ask, well, why haven't I this or why haven't I that? But I know already the mechanical reasons why that hasn't happened. Now, do I always understand the spiritual reasons why I made the decisions that I did? No. And those are the kinds of things that you want to talk to Spirit about and ask the channel. Or, what are the reasons that I am blocking myself? What are the things that I am doing? Or why am I doing the things that I know are blocking myself? And a lot of times, those hard questions, if you can channel the right answer, so many of the other questions are going to fall away, because usually they involve, well, should I this, should I that, should I this, what should I do? And there's 11 different options. So a lot of times, getting to the bottom of why you're not doing what you know you should be doing, a lot of times the rest of the questions will fall away. Now, in terms of what we should be doing, this again is something that we can taint with our own desires, right? I know what I want to do. So if I try to ask Spirit, is this what I should do? It can be difficult to decipher the difference between what I'm wanting the answer to be and what I'm hearing down here. That's when it becomes extremely important to have quiet time and have a meditative space, whether it's in your house or go for a walk or whatever you have to do. I know for me, for years, my meditative space was riding my rider lawnmower. That was the only place I could go where nobody was going to bother me, whether it be a human or a dog. And I knew I could kind of get inside of my head, and an interesting thing would happen. A lot of my best creative ideas would come while riding the mower. So I don't know if it was the sound or the vibration or just the fact that I was completely alone with my thoughts, because it wasn't like I could hear anything else over the sound of the mower. So in terms of knowing what questions to ask yourself when you're channeling, I would venture a guess you already know. And that is when it takes some prep time to look inside yourself and ask yourself the difficult questions. You know, if you want to know why you haven't had success at something yet, make sure before you go asking Spirit for the answer that you don't already know it up here. Okay, you know if you've been putting in the right kind of work. You know if you've been a little bit lazy and you haven't really done everything that you know you should do. So you already know the answer to that question, although it may be difficult to admit. However, if you use Spirit to get to those answers, you know, in one way it kind of reinforces what you already know, but in another way you're just kind of telling yourself something you already know. You're not moving forward. You're just confirming what you already know. Now that can help you move on, but at the same time, I prefer to ask Spirit the questions that I'm genuinely perplexed on. It's like, I did all of these steps that I knew I should do, and I still didn't get the result. Then that's when you get to the point you say, okay, look, am I chasing a result that is not going to come? Am I chasing it in the wrong manner? Is this the wrong timing? That's where timing can come in. You don't always have to ask when, but you can ask if you are on the right schedule. If what you're thinking, you know, are we talking days, weeks, months, years? Because a lot of times you might be thinking weeks, and you might think that you're putting in the effort that will make it days, and Spirit is over in the corner knowing it's going to be months or years, throwing blocks at you because it has to wait for divine timing as well. So I guess the last thing I would say is that in terms of how to figure out what questions to ask your own Spirit, definitely check in upstairs with your head and make sure that you're not asking things that you already know. Okay? I know, you know, in my other endeavors on YouTube, as far as my sports hockey YouTube channel is concerned, I know I have a level of success that I would like to achieve. I also know that as frustrated as I get, I know in the previous 3 years I have not put in the consistent work that was necessary. So there's no sense of me asking Spirit, why haven't I had the success that I want? I already know it up here. Now, I can ask, if I put in that work, am I going to get what I want? And those are the answers you want to get to, okay? The answers that you're seeking are, okay, if I do this, am I really on the right track? Is this really, am I going to get what I want? And Spirit will give you those answers. They will give you, it's not going to happen, or it will. And believe me, you'll know, okay? Because you're going to be angry, all right? Because there's plenty of things I've asked, look, if I do this, and this, and this, and Spirit's just like, no, man, it ain't going to happen for you. That is not going to happen for you. It doesn't matter what you do. Stop banging your head up against that wall. And maybe I listen, maybe I don't. But I already know the answer I've gotten, you know. So, as far as if you're coming to somebody like myself and Karen, who are going to channel answers for you, or if you're going to see somebody else and you want to know how to get to a question or what to ask them, you're going to want to double down on a couple of things. The first thing is, obviously, don't ask questions that you already know the answer to, because they're going to pick that up and they may just feed you back what you want to hear. And the other part to that is that as soon as you ask a channeler a question, his or her guides or blah, 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 okay, they're going, and a lot of times it's beforehand. So make sure that you don't give that person too much information ahead of time. Try to keep that question that you're going to ask, or the details around that question, to yourself until you just kind of point blank is this yes, no, blank. However you're going to ask the question, kind of keep it to yourself a little bit. And in terms of how to figure out what to ask, that's definitely where you want to look at the back of the line or the front of the line. I prefer the back of the line. And the reason why I prefer if somebody asks me that question that's been there for so long is because normally I can get an answer that's going to give them so many steps ahead to where, you know, if they have 50 questions and they ask question number 50, that answer gives them answer from 50 to 30. And now we've only got, you know, 20, 25 more questions to go through. So I prefer people to ask me the one that's been on their mind the most or for the longest. And then also, if it's just right now in the present and you're sure that you don't know the answer and you're really, really, really stuck, that new question that you have, that's also a good one to ask. So, all right, gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, the links to the website are in the description, and we're running a $25 special where you fill out the intake form and then you go ahead and you ask us 3 questions on one subject, and I will sit at night and channel the answers, and Karen will sit with me and she will give you a written report in about 2 to 3 days based on what I've said. So if you'd like that idea, check out the website. It's themanifestingmedium.com, and all the information is there as well as the intake form. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.